I'm 44 years old, and for the last 18 months, I have questioned everything that I have built in my life. The first 43 years of my life, my entire identity, what I stand for, the type of work that I do, I reached a point where I stopped believing in almost everything. And I want you to know that whatever stage you are at in life right now, that first of all, it is okay to question everything. You can question your entire identity. As human beings, we get to have a choice. We choose what we believe in, we choose what we don't stand for, and we choose who we are and the habits that we have on a daily basis. And what I came to realize is that what I had built, and I'm talking about me personally as an individual, I just got to this point where I didn't believe in a lot of it anymore. And this led to probably the darkest time. In fact, not probably, it was the darkest time in my life. Because when you stop simply living out the patterns and the repetition and the habits and the addictions, when you stop and take a breath and you observe and you look at your life from the outside in, you start to see the truth from the lies. And I wanted to share this today because I feel it's time to share. I wasn't ready to share 6 months ago or a year ago, even 3 months ago. But now I want to talk about this openly because through taking time to stop, and first of all, everything was met with massive resistance. I literally would spend nights on end. I believe it's called dark nights of the soul. And that's the only way to explain it. The darkest nights, the deepest depression, the wondering, what the fuck have I done with my life? This isn't who I am. This is not what I stand for. And that resistance came up again and again because you want to hold on to that identity that you've created. Because if you're not you, if you're not your habits, then who the fuck are you? And is it too late to turn it all around? These were the questions that I was asking again and again. All I can say from my own personal experience is that going through this is the most healing journey I've ever been on. And the immense amount of time I've spent by myself and having that time to stop and simply observe. And you start to reach a point where you, first of all, you see your patterns. You see the predictability in your life. And what was fascinating is that I just felt like this character in a movie. You know when you go to watch a movie and you know what the main character is going to do next because it's predictable. They introduce you to the character, they give you some personal background of the character, and you know that character is going to fuck up because that's the pattern that they're living by, and you're observing that character as you're watching the movie. And through stopping and going through and facing myself and having this time by myself over the last 18 months allowed me to start to observe instead of identifying as the character. You see, the character in the movie doesn't know he's in the movie at all. He's just playing his role. And I believe that that's what we're all doing. We're just playing our role unconsciously. And that's whatever you believe. But my personal belief is that's what the governments and the elites, that's what they want us to do. The higher powers want us just to play the role, be a consumer. And before you know it, you get to the end of the life and you've just lived the same pattern like Groundhog Day, day in and day out. So after a few months, it took a while. I'm not going to bullshit here. It's taken a while and it continues to take time. But what I was able to do is, number one, observe, but then start to differentiate. Does this pattern behavior, does it serve the real me? And if I am that character in a movie, isn't it wonderful when that character has an unexpected twist in the movie for the better? You think that they're going to go down this route, and then suddenly there's a wonderful twist because the character chose a different path. And when you start to observe, this is just my experience, I'm not an expert in this topic, I just wanted to share because it's my channel and I want to share more of this type of thing here. And I would say the most wonderful thing that I'm grateful for is that I'm now able to observe these patterns and ask myself, is that a predictable decision that's going to take me down the same route? I'm not going to share what, but there's a particular event that's just recently happened in my life. Doesn't matter what the event is, but every time that event has happened throughout my life, it's happened a number of times, a similar thing, my reaction is I always go away. I get on a plane, I fly somewhere, and I go for like 2 weeks or 4 days minimum. It can be a month, but I disappear. And I can see the pattern only now that by doing that, I was avoiding myself and avoiding going through certain emotions. I always felt great. Who doesn't feel great when they can get on a plane and fly somewhere for a couple of weeks? And I'm very lucky that I'm in a position to do that. But with this most recent event, I made a different decision. I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay in my apartment and stay in my city, and I'm going to face what I need to face as a result of what's happened recently in my life. And the funny thing is that once I got through that, it was like that unexpected, wonderful twist in the movie. Wow, wasn't expecting that to happen. There's a lot more I want to share on this, but I want to keep this video relatively brief compared to what it could be, because it's just such a big topic. I feel for me, I reached a point where I could no longer live in the same way that I was living, even though I was very happy in certain parts of my life and then other parts of my life I wasn't, and to simply accept that, well, this is my life. And I'm given so much and I'm aware, hyper aware, and I try my best to be grateful for everything that I'm given. I don't always get it right, but I try my best. However, just because we're grateful for what we've been given, it doesn't mean that we don't look at things and question, is this truly the real me? And that's what's created a change in my channel recently, while I'm doing these sorts of videos. I even look back at my videos from a year ago, 2 years ago, energetically, how I'm coming across, what I'm talking about. And some things I still believe in. And so, for example, I specialize in sales transformation, and I help small business owners with sales, to transform their sales. And last year, I was thinking, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, but then what am I going to do? And this is what my identity has been built upon for 20 years. And then I realized it wasn't. My identity is not that at all. And then I became comfortable with the uncertainty and the unknown. I realize how much we're addicted to creating certainty in our life, and that creates a huge amount of uncertainty, because we're creating certainty all too often around a fake life. Anybody can create certainty around stuff that isn't who they are, and that led me to a lot of anxiety. But the beautiful thing, for me at least, is that I've come through the other side of it and said, no, I do enjoy. There's things I used to hate in my business that now, and I mean this hand on heart, that now I love. I love doing, I love being a part of, but the same in life too. I had so many questions before. I thought, I need to live somewhere different. I need to be in a city. I need to be out in the countryside. I need to, I should be doing this. I should be doing that. And the list was endless. You know this feeling, right? And all I can say is that going through this process over the last 18 months and stepping back and being willing to question everything, first of all, observing the character in the movie that I've been playing and saying, I want to help this guy. Yeah, I want to help this guy out. The character in the movie that's me, I want to help him. You know, when you're sat in the cinema and you want to help, like, no, don't go up the stairs, there's a killer downstairs, right? Like, but you want to help them. That's what I'm trying my best to do. And I mean this hand on heart. The last 3 or 4 weeks, I've been sincerely the happiest I've ever been, because I feel that I'm finally being me. And that's my message for today. So whatever age you're at right now, whether you're 15 or 95, Do not be afraid to question everything. It's okay. All this entanglement that we have and this identification with our identity, we can disconnect and we can observe, because only through observation we get to truly find out who we are, what we stand for, what we care about. Thank you for watching, and as always, I will see you tomorrow.